Good afternoon and welcome back to the ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup here in Markkleeberg in Germany. It's round 4 and it's finals time. So we've got the men's C1 up in just a moment and then immediately followed by the women's K1. The top boats are now into the final. 10 boats remain. They race off in reverse order of the semi-final performance and will determine who takes maximum points into the World Cup final next weekend in Prague in the Czech Republic. So here we are on this beautiful man-made venue in Markkleeberg, just on the outskirts of Leipzig in Germany. And this is the only venue built as part of Leipzig's 2012 Olympic bid. Built in 2006, great facility, and 18 cubic meters of water per second, pumped up to the start pool, and gravity does the rest. Myself, Andy Maddock, will bring you up to date with all the action as it unfolds, and I'm pleased to say joining me back in the booth is Casey Eichfeldt from the United States of America, three-time Olympian. Welcome back, Casey.
Thank you very much.
So big anticipation for this men's C1 final, not just because we've got some big names in the final, but the German anticipation. We've got their Olympic selection, their culmination of the Olympic selection.
Absolutely.
So as we look at it, after 3 races in this World Cup series, 5 races overall, then Luca Božič of Slovenia leading the way, ahead of Matej Benos of Slovakia. Both of those are in this final. And here is the start list. So Matej Benos of Slovakia will lead us off. He was 10th in the semi-final. Aleksander Slafkovský of Slovakia, the fastest in the semi-final, will go off last. But who are the big names to watch, do you think, Casey, in this final?
Oh, goodness. I mean, all of these guys are very powerful paddlers. I think, like you mentioned, the German Olympic selection having a big role in this race for those guys. I think that they're going to be incredibly exciting to watch. We've seen Tasiadis show incredible power and speed yesterday, dominating the competition by a few seconds over already very respectably fast times. And then Anton is just an incredibly consistent paddler and also very powerful as well. So I think this is going to be super exciting.
Well, there's still to come, but we are led off by Matej Benos of Slovakia, the Olympic silver medalist from Rio 2016, World Championship medalist at senior level, so very accomplished paddler. Second in the World Cup standings at the moment after 3 races, and well, how good would it be for him to put a run down and just tighten the screw on those still to come? As an indication, after the semi-finals, 93.21 was the fastest raw run time. So that's the kind of time it's going to take in order to take the gold medal, and 60 points in the World Cup standings from this race 4 here in Markkleeberg in Germany.
So far showing really good stability, keeping it in the middle of the gate poles, not really dodging and dancing too much. It's very key to be able to keep that speed of the boat moving nicely.
Yeah, Matej has a very fluid style, doesn't he? Unlike Michal Martikán, who we'll see later on in the final. Very intense, very short-stroked, very powerful. But Matej very much is about running the boat, using his big levers to get maximum effect.
Yes, he does have very good reach, and he tries to use that as best as he possibly can. Nice little bounce there into the last upstream, carrying that speed.
This is looking a really respectable run here. He's got to just make sure he doesn't get pushed around by the water. That's pretty direct at the bottom.
He's still going to be short of that fastest raw time that we saw, but very respectable time.
So 95.75 is the time to beat. He looks like he knows he's left a bit out there, but equally, like you say, that's a kind of podium level performance. Remembering that in the final, we're going to see people giving it their all, and sometimes the wheels can fall off.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes giving it your all means crashing hard. So we'll see whether this is one of those finals where the times get faster, or in fact, sometimes the finals times actually get slower and they don't go quite as hard or as well as they did in the semis run.
Well, Matej Benos there, Slovakia, Olympic silver medalist, and 3 Slovaks in this 10-boat final. 2 Germans, 2 Italians, 2 Slovenians. and then a lonely Spanish paddler and Elosegi. But well, perfect conditions here in Germany. 28 degrees, not a cloud in sight, and most importantly, I think for the competitors, no wind.
Yes, the wind is often an unfortunate enemy of ours, but that's part of racing outside. You know, we're an outdoor sport, and we got to take the weather as it is.
So the competitors racing in reverse order, the semi-finals, 3-minute intervals, and next up, Stefano Cipressi of Italy, who, well, he's the world champion in a kayak back in 2006, and really forging his way in the men's canoe event, and it's good to see him in this final. Of course, Italy won the race with Roberto Colazingardi in Italy, in Slovenia, in Tartzen, the third World Cup race, but he didn't progress through to the final this afternoon. Well, it's a good start from Stefano. Switching the blade, we talked about that in the semi-finals, but Stefano, a real master of just switching to the optimum blade.
He's keeping things pretty smooth for the most part, a couple hiccups here and there, but I'm not sure that he's pushing quite as hard as he can. He's looking like he's, you know, it looks like he's thinking about it a little bit more than he should be.
Yeah, I would agree. And you would actually probably describe Stefano as quite a composed paddler.
I would for sure.
Doesn't take too many risks, but he's pretty consistent.
Yep, but you can see that time is slipping farther and farther away.
Yeah, the art of elite canoe slalom is it's about risk and reward, isn't it? You really have got to take some risks, and as we said earlier, sometimes it doesn't work out, but you want to leave nothing on the river.
Right, and it's a very tricky balance of being conservative enough and risky enough to keep the board balanced, keep the boat balanced, and just keep that momentum moving well all the way down the course.
So Stefano finishes with a time 1:02.51. That includes that 2-second penalty on the downstream gate 18. But it is still Matej Benus leading for Slovakia in the early stages of this men's C1 final here at the 2019 ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup. It's race 4 in Markkleeberg in Germany. So probably worth at the start of this program just reminding the audience that these competitors are kneeling in the boat, single-bladed paddle, and that gives a bit more leverage, a bit more maneuverability.
Yeah, but I keep in mind that these paddlers, for the most part, are sitting very low in their boat. Essentially, they're just sitting on their feet. There's a little bit of foam in there as a seat, but it's not the most comfortable thing in the world. After about 10 minutes, you're like, okay, time to stretch.
Yeah, it's funny. Do you ever get used to that through your career?
Honestly, you just keep getting older and older, and so your ability to stay in longer gets shorter.
Well, next up, it is the second of the two Italians in this final. It is Raffaello Ivaldi setting off on his final run. So Raffaelli very much, well, he was 5th at the Under-23 World Championships this year. That took place in Krakow in Poland, just between the third World Cup of the season and this World Cup 4. So he's certainly had a bit of racing experience, and he's put that to good use. And he's up on the split, only by a 10th, but it's a solid start for Ivaldi of Italy.
Bow up in the air. It's often signs for a little bit of issues.
It's interesting, I run into the upstream gate 10, it's quite a difficult one to control the bows and to get the right line in to make sure you're tight without getting too tight.
Right, it's very tricky because that wave kind of crashes and then opens up, and you're already coming at it with very little speed just due to the offset above it. And so you can see here it's already cost him a second and a half.
Yeah, so it's a good run coming together, but he's clean at the moment. But yeah, 1.64 the deficit. And Benus of Slovakia, we know there's a bit of time still that could be had. But Benos has definitely put in a good benchmark for those to chase.
Yeah.
It's going to be outside though for Ivaldi of Italy. It's going to be well outside. Clock's ticking. Still a few strokes to go. And stops the clock 99.83. So second place for Raffaello Ivaldi, but Matej Benos still leading the way. 95.75 for Slovakia. The Olympic silver medalist is set the bar at the moment. 7 boats still to go in this men's C1 final. Great slow-mos here, and sometimes you forget just how hard the paddlers have to work because they make it look so easy.
Yeah, Rafa's looking a little tired there at the bottom. Although those slow-mos are great bicep shots. Showing off all that work they do in the gym.
They'll be playing that back. In fact, there's Lynn Rice, world champion from 1995. For Great Britain, she Lynn Simpson those days, married to Michael Rice, and lives in Germany, so that's good to see her. And next up in the final, the sole representative for Spain is Ander Elosegi. And well, he's got a great track record at Olympic level and lots of experience at final level, but well, he's taken an early touch on the upstream gate 3.
These upstreams are often a little tricky when you have these very fast drops into the eddies and then the eddy is spinning. It's often difficult to control the angle that you need, and also picking up another touch of 5, gathering those penalty seconds really quickly right off the bat. Yeah,
so not a good start for Ander Elosegi of Spain.
Very nice into 10 though. He's running the boat well. He's just not keeping enough space between him and the poles.
That's his characteristic, really, isn't it? He is a very smooth paddler, but yeah, probably not as consistent as across the international season. But his Olympic record is pretty strong: 4th, and 8th across 3 Olympic Games. Will he make it a 4th Olympic Games? Well, he'll be first having to qualify a place, but that will be on his home water at the World Championships in a month's time. Now, Ander was very good on the bottom section in the semi-final, so let's see whether he can make up any time.
Yeah, just looking a little unstable there on the cross behind that hole, and that's just a little bit of time, not so much in slowing down, but rather he's not accelerating because he's missing that stroke. Instead of pulling forward, he's bracing. So, yeah, it looks like about 100 here.
Yeah, 100.62 into 3rd place. So Matej Benos still leading for Slovakia. Raffaello Ivaldi in 2nd for Italy. And then Ander Elosegi of Spain goes into 3rd place. 6 to go in this men's C1 final here in Markkleeberg in Germany for the 4th round of the ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup 2019. So, Casey, we talked about the World Championships being in a month's time. How are people going to be preparing for those World Championships in the next month?
Well, I think that, the important thing for all of us is to make sure that we're peaking as best as we can by the time we're getting to Worlds. So you can kind of see what everybody does in terms with races and whatnot. Sometimes people are, for instance, take this race, for instance. There are a bunch of athletes that are actually not here. They may be choosing to do something else, take a little time, or train maybe specifically in sail where the World Championships will be. Everybody's got different needs, and it's important that especially at this level, that you know what those are and you can kind of navigate them as best as possible.
And of course, you'll be able to follow those World Championships here live on Planet Canoe. But let's focus on Luca Božič of Slovenia, because Luca is actually the current World Cup leader after the first 3 rounds of the competition on the back of consistent performances. And what can he do here? Well, he was a finalist in the World Championships last year, and he's always a solid paddler.
just blazed through the upstream 4, taking a little bit of a lower line into 3, but it gave him a really good surf into 4 and got out of there very quickly. Half a second up on the split, which is very good to start with.
Yeah, so if he can find half a second on Benos, who we know his time is good, then Luca Božič is in touch. Not the best move on the upstream gate 10, but he's keeping it moving. So through the slacker water here into this tricky then 11 to 12. Bit of time in the upstream 12, and then this move 13, 14 and 15. Important to keep the boat running. That's what will give you the fast time.
Found a little bit more time as well. This is coming together fairly nicely.
Well,
see how much fuel he has left in the tank.
So he's the current race leader in the World Cup Series overall after 3 races. And this is going to be the move that will determine whether he can take that challenge to Benos of Slovakia.
It's looking pretty good so far. Pull. You can see he's tired. A lot of crossbows in there.
But he's going to go into the race lead, surely. He does.
Very good.
94.33. Luca Božič takes the race lead for Slovenia. And, well, he knows it. That is a good performance for the World Cup leader after 3 races. So, Luca Božič of Slovenia leads ahead of Matej Benos of Slovakia. Raffaello Ivaldi of Italy is in third at the halfway point in this 10-boat men's C1 final. But here, this is where, well, Luca Božič, he was just solid all the way down.
Yeah, holding it very solidly, keeping the body upright as much as he could. Yeah, just executing the plan B's and C's fairly well. You could see there were a couple places where he didn't really want to be where he was, but he took that in stride, got himself moving, kept that momentum going. Now it's time to report to boat control, make sure everything's all spick and span.
Well, we'll hopefully grab a word with Luca. Just there's a bit of a pause always in the final to try and get a word with the current race leader, and he'll be quickly whisked out of his boat to give him a chance to get his breath back. And well, there's Matej Benos, who currently sits in second place in this final for Slovakia. So we're at the halfway point in this, the men's C1 final, live from Markkleeberg in Germany in the sunshine and great conditions. Halfway point, 5 boats down, Luca Božič of Slovenia leading, and I think at the finish we'll get the opportunity to have a quick chat with our race leader at the halfway point.
Well, here he is, the current race leader, halfway through the final. Luca, it was a nice run. Were you happy with it?
Yeah, I'm happy with this run, but I have 2 mistakes on the left, on mine side, upstream gates. So I think the guys which are on the start now, they're gonna go around 93, I think. So we will see on the end.
Keep our fingers crossed. Good luck, Luca.
Thank you.
Well, he barely had a chance to get his breath back, but here is the scores after the halfway point. 5 boats down, 5 to go, and it is Luca Božič, who we just heard from there, for Slovenia, 94.33 leading the way. But here's a person under pressure, but who's well capable of delivering under pressure. Franz Anton of Germany has to finish ahead of Sideris Tasiadis still to come in this final, in order to keep his chances of going to the Tokyo Olympics alive. Got local support. This will be his local course, and Franz Anton world champion in 2018 and already has a World Cup win from Bratislava in Slovakia, race 2 under his belt.
Keeping it very smooth so far, which I cannot say about my heart rate. I am super amped up right now watching this. Oh, just a little bit of a wobble there, but excellent save. Really didn't lose too much, but hopefully that doesn't get into his head. Well, that's my bigger concern for him right now is, you know, when you make little mistakes like that, you start to let that focus slip.
Well, he had a slight advantage in the first of the splits. We'll get an indication very shortly as to whether he has extended that. Oh, it's down now, 0.44, so it's still very achievable. And if he does moves like 15, then that's where he'll find time.
Yep, still keeping it really tighty. Just needs to find that space and speed right where he can.
Well, the world champion of 2018 is very much delivering here. He's really got the run of the boat on this bottom section. If he's got enough left in the arms, then he could still challenge Luca Božič of Slovenia.
Wow.
It's going to be tight. I think it's going to be outside and just outside, 0.1 of a second. And Germany's Franz Anton goes into second place. So Luka Božič holds on for Slovenia, 94.33. Franz Anton goes into second. Matej Benus still in third place. Then we have Luka Božič on the right, Matej Benus on the left, and a great example of the different kind of styles of paddling because of the different kinds of sizes of the athletes.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody has to kind of develop a style that just suits them. So sometimes there's not always a right and wrong with it. It's just what works best for that athlete. Oh, that was intense. Oh my gosh.
Well, now Franz Anton, he's put in a respectable run there, 94.43, and now he just has to sit and wait because there's a story within a story there, isn't there? Because Sideris Tasiadis basically has to go under 94.43 to get the German Olympic place for the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. If he doesn't, then it keeps the race alive. It's down to a point system. So a story there, but well, here he is, the world #1, Sideris Tasiadis of Germany. An example of an athlete who's been really focused on selecting which races he does. He's only done one World Cup so far this year, and that one he won. What can he do today?
Oh boy. It just got my heart rate back down. Now it's back up.
So Sideris Tasiadis is an Olympic medalist from London 2012. Represented Germany at the Rio Games. From memory, I think he was 4th. And then, well, he's certainly attacking the course and got a really good flow on the boat.
Oh my goodness, almost 2 seconds up on that first split. That is a big gap compared to what we've been seeing. Very smooth and on top of the water right there. Nice little jump there. Whoa! Had to drop his paddle, very tight entrance into that upstream, and cost him just a little bit because he didn't have a blade in the water. The boat kept sliding to that outside wall and took that touch on the outside pole.
Yeah, so that's pretty much cancelled out the early advantage, but he's still in the mix. He is still in this race to take the race win. 60 points in the World Cup standings. And,
right on it.
Such small margins up for grabs. Nowhere really to gain any time on the course.
Yeah, it was interesting. Opting for a bit of a wider line there than a lot of the other athletes have. Wow, a lot of edge work there. It seems to have paid off, though. Now it's just what's left in the tank.
Well, the noise from the German fans is intense, but another penalty showing for Sideris Tasiadis. Yep. And surely he is going to miss out on the podium today. Into 4th place for Tasiadis of Germany. A respectable run. Look at that, 93.5 his raw run time, but plus 4 seconds in penalties. And so good enough for the race lead, but those penalties proving costly. So Luka Božič still sitting firm at the top of the leaderboard for Slovenia with 3 boats still to go. And well, I don't know about you, Casey, but I'm really enjoying this men's C1 final. But yeah, I'm not sure whether our hearts are beating faster than some of the athletes.
Yeah, that was intense. I was a little surprised, if I'm honest. I expected a little bit more composure in terms of penalties from Tasiadis, but you know, he was pushing it, and like we talked about, it's hard to find that balance of just all out going for it and keeping everything tidy as needed.
I think it's still important to say that you know, he's, I think, still very much in the pole position for that German Olympic team spot for the Tokyo Games.
Absolutely.
Because it's a point system, but this was his opportunity to just guarantee that.
Yep.
Well, let's focus on the World Cup race. Luca Božič leading ahead of Franz Anton, the world champion of 2018, and Matej Benoš of Slovakia. And next up, well, another world champion, Benjamin Savšek. And again, you would never rule this paddler out. Hugely consistent and very, very accomplished in terms of being able to cope with the pressure of a final.
Yep. And now we're going to get to see whether it's going to be one Slovenian on the podium or maybe even two.
Well, I would be certainly expecting him to be challenging for a podium spot today. And certainly he is up on the split, not by a lot. It doesn't matter how green you are, just got to stay in the green zone on that split time. This is where Tasiadis had the problem. Not quite the exit he wanted, but Savšek of Slovenia still on track for a good performance here. So this is the upstream gate 12.
Very smooth in and out.
On this 21 gate course, the course designers Dan Goddard and Michael Trummer. They've set a good challenging course here.
Still in the green, but maybe not the approach into that upstream that he really wanted. It's a lot harder to catch that surf and get into the upstream and then be able to exit really well.
But he made that look easy, didn't he? But actually, he just showed his talent, really, to be able to pull it off from that kind of proximity.
Yep, absolutely.
He managed to deliver the move.
Carrying good speed across that dead water there, and now it's just grunt work.
Now it's going to be close. It's going to be outside, I think, but into fourth place for Benjamin Savšek of Slovenia. It slipped away at the bottom part of the course. A little bit around that upstream where he really just had to reach for the limit of his flexibility, but he kept it clean, and that's noticeable. The top four performers all clean at the moment, but it is Luca Božič of Slovenia still at the top of the leaderboard. 94.33, the time to beat with 2 boats to go. Yeah, those 2 boats. Well, 2 from Slovakia. Michal Martikán, the legend who really showed us some of his previous form this morning in the semi-finals. Will we see that again? I hope so. And Aleksander Slafkovský, 3-time European champion, who's really always been in the shadow of Matej Benoš and in particular Michal Martikán through his career. But Benny Savšek for Slovenia is not to be on the podium today, but still a strong performance as he prepares for the World Cup final in Prague next weekend. Double points up for grabs, of course, and then the World Championships in a month's time. But here we have 5-time Olympic medalist, twice Olympic champion, 40-year-old Michal Martikán, 4-time world and European champion. He has won a phenomenal number of World Cup medals. I think it's 43 World Cup medals in his career. And, well, can he make it 44? If he paddles like he did this morning, then he could well do that. Michal looking composed. He's had a lot of back problems, didn't he, sort of 5 or 6 years ago. Really limited some of his training, but he seems to have had to adapt his technique, he's adapted his style, and he's managed to come through and rediscover some of his form.
Looks like he's picked up a penalty on the downstream gate 7.
That won't be helpful, but in terms of the penalty, the 0.62, the split, so he was in touch with the race leader.
I've seen a lot of the left-dominant paddlers going for the punt option out of that upstream 10. It is a bit of an awkward, narrow eddy, so if it's an advantage they can take, I don't see why not.
So on the split now, 1.23 the deficit, so it has extended, but if he can produce some Martikán magic on the bottom section, he can still very much be in the mix for a podium place.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have to remember that that deficit also includes that penalty. So he has a very good raw time so far.
Well, it's great to see the legend of the sport on course, and there is a penalty review. Now, whether that's to look at gate 7, I'm not sure, but it's going to be tight. It's going to be into, well, 95.71 is his time, into third place. And there is a penalty review underway, so whether they're looking at gate 7 or whether there's another gate on the course that's being looked at. But it is important to say, if that penalty was removed, he would be our race leader.
Absolutely.
Well, there we have it. There's the volunteers working in the video judging and just analysing. They have individual cameras on all of the upstream gates and a number of the other gates, and a number of different angles at their disposal. So, well, it does look like they are looking at that gate 7. So we'll have to wait and see. At the moment, still showing on the leaderboard, and Michal Martikán sets the fastest time of the race. It looks like that's confirmed third place because of that 2-second penalty on gate 7. 1 to go, and Luca Božič is still leading for Slovenia, ahead of Franz Anton of Germany and Michal Martikán of Slovakia.
Auf noch einen Slowaken, der mit 36 Jahren ebenfalls sehr, sehr erfahren ist, ist dreifacher Europameister.
So a growing German crowd here in Markkleeberg on the outskirts of Leipzig in Germany. And Aleksander Slafkovský, the fastest from the semi-final, is now on course. The last boat down, and he needs to go quicker than 94.33 to take 60 points in this ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup 4. Three-time European champion, very accomplished paddler, always in or around the finals.
Very smooth paddling right now, looking very deliberate. He knows where he's driving the boat.
Now this is the move, this is where the penalty was picked up for Martikán. Well, he takes it very direct, goes for the spin.
Keeping it very tight on the poles. I'm not sure that line was exactly what he wanted, but he
well, it's a good line for 10, isn't it?
Right.
It's really worked for him to get in and out of 10. You were talking about how sticky it is on the exit because it's so close to the wall. Be interesting to see whether that shows up. He was a second up on the split at the top.
very smooth here. He's just transitioning super well into those plan Bs and Cs. Nice bounce here. Oh, picked up some a little bit more of an advantage here as well.
And he's just looking so calm, so composed, and really fluid, but he can't afford to relax because 1.66 can easily be eaten up even just on the sprint to the finish.
Yes, absolutely. Crushed that upstream though. Very nice cross, carried some speed. Good little jump here, and now here comes the grunt work. Just a little bit hung up there, but he's got the time to
it's going to be a big time, surely. And into the race lead, Aleksander Slafkovský doesn't just take the win, he smashes that time, 92.54. And they made it look so easy.
I have to thank him because I believe that I said 92 earlier after semifinals, so he made that a thing for me.
Well, thank you, Aleksander. That's helped. But wow, what a race there! We've got some big names in this race, and it is Aleksander Slafkovský of Slovakia who gives us a flawless performance there. 92.54 shows us his style, and he takes 60 points for the World Cup standings going into the World Cup final next week. Luka Božič of Slovenia, the leader for so long, has to settle for silver. He'll be happy with that, and he's the World Cup overall leader after 3 races, and I suspect he may hold on to that after this race as well. We'll get confirmation of that very shortly. And then Franz Anton of Germany takes the bronze for the home country, the host federation, Germany.
And congratulations to Franz for keeping his road to Tokyo still an option. You know, it's not over for him now.
Yeah, I think that's really important, isn't it? Because he's such a popular athlete on the circuit. He was the world champion of 2018, and well, here we have it. The results from the men's C1 final. Aleksander Slafkovský takes the win ahead of Luka Božič of Slovenia. Franz Anton of Germany. Then, Michal Martikán so close. and that 2-second penalty on gate 7 costing him a spot on the podium. World number 1 Sideris Tasiadis of Germany has to settle for 7th, and there we have it. The winner, Aleksander Slafkovský, acknowledging the support there. So Casey, what are your reflections on that men's C1 final? Aleksander Slafkovský, well, not a surprise to see him deliver under pressure, but that was an outstanding run.
That was a very incredible run, a lot of incredible paddling. You know, this course doesn't look super difficult, but there's so many opportunities for small mistakes, and you could see them time and time again. Everybody just experienced a couple here and there, and it really depended how they transitioned out of those mistakes and whether they maintained good momentum or if they really lost a lot of time. And it was a very exciting finals to watch.
6 clean runs out of the 10 paddlers, so we really were treated to the performance. But there he is. Aleksander Slafkovský takes the first medal of this ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup here in Markkleeberg, Germany. It's gold for Slovakia. And here are the World Cup standings, and it is Luca Božič retains that lead at the moment. 187 points. Matej Benos of Slovakia, 169. Aleksander Slafkovský of Slovakia is 3rd. So those are the top 3 positions. But of course, we go to Prague next weekend.
Aleksander Slafkovský, it's been a while, but here you are, number 1 again.
It doesn't look like, but it's been really a while. I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years that I didn't win a race. I was always second or on the podium or behind, but I really needed this feeling, and it's a special day for me also because of the national selections for the Olympics, and I think I convinced everybody that I can pedal fast and be good even under pressure, because I was starting the last and I was the only one to change the results, and but I was thinking about my run and focusing on what I will do on the water, and it worked out.
Congratulations. Good to see you on top of the podium. See you next week.
Thank you, and see you in Prague.
And of course, we'll be in Prague for the World Cup final. And that's double points up for grabs. That's next weekend, and it'll all be live on the Planet Canoe, so you can follow us too throughout that. But don't go away, because we have the women's K1 final up next, and of course tomorrow we have the women's C1 and the men's K1 semi-finals and finals on Planet Canoe. So still lots of action from Markkleeberg in Germany. Well, just to wrap that up, then Aleksander delivered a strong message to his federation in that interview.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many different Olympic selection criteria for all of the nations. It's hard to keep track of what everybody's doing and where they are in their process, and it's really exciting to hear about that. And it's awesome to see Aleksander throw down such an incredible run when it really counted, when it really mattered, when he needed to show his federation that, like, look, I'm not out. Let's do this. So it's really cool.
Great. So gold for Aleksander Slafkovský of Slovakia. And now we're into the women's K1 final. The top 10 from the semi-finals this morning. So from me, Andy Maddock, I'll be staying with you. But thank you, Casey, for joining me in the commentary box. Much appreciated. We look forward to seeing you racing in Prague next weekend. And, of course, I will now be joined by Naomi Fox in just a moment for Australia. So we are straight into action very shortly with the women's K1 final. So again, we had 30 boats racing in the semi-final this morning, and the top 10 boats from that semi-final will race it out in the final. 3-minute intervals, and they race in reverse order of the performance in the semi-final this morning. And the top performance from that semi-final was Ricarda Funk, setting a time of 96.63. It did have a 2-second penalty on top of that, but that's the kind of pace that we're going to need to see in order to challenge for the gold today. First up, Ana Satila of Brazil. And, well, a very warm welcome back to the commentary box to Noemi Fox of Australia.
Thank you. Anna's definitely going to be upping the level. I think, once you just scrape into the final, it's another opportunity and it's a new start, and she's definitely going to seize that, and you can see that she's really grunting her way down. I think a lot of them will also be, I'm not sure if they would have seen bits of the C1 final, but it was awesome, and that definitely inspires and leaves you really ready to put down your best as well.
Yes, and it's interesting because all of the athletes that this is now their second run on the course, so they've had the opportunity, only about an hour or so, to look at video. But how much learning do you think will go on in that time?
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but I mean, not too much. They also know within themselves what the key areas are to improve, and so they'll look at the video and look at what some other people did to really gain time, but it's not, you don't want to overload the brain too much in the end. It's about being natural as well and keeping to your style. So it's also quite hot, so I'm sure a lot of them try to just relax and stay in the shade because it's very hot out there.
It is indeed perfect conditions for racing, and a time 101.46 for Ana Satila. She puts in a clean run for Brazil.
That is very fast, yeah.
That's a respectable run there. She knows it. She's pretty pleased with that, and always good when you're first off in the final. It is an opportunity if you can put a good run down.
It's an excruciating wait as well, hoping you knock them off one by one, but yeah, she will be very happy with that.
Well, Anna's style is very attacking, very aggressive, isn't it? And sometimes it almost puts you on the edge of your seat because of the risks she takes, but she's delivered in this final so far.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was one gate where she was really close, but other than that, and you can see it, I think she takes less risks now, but she still is always trying to get the quickest line and stick to the inside poles. But that was a big improvement for her semi-final, and I think that's also what makes you happy and satisfied with your racing, is when you deliver what you aim to deliver.
Yeah, and she's had a busy schedule in between the World Cups because she's been out at the Pan American Games and competing there. So quite a busy schedule, and the season is very much not finished. But let's focus on Stefanie Horn now, because Stefanie Horn, representing Italy, is on course, and of course she won the third World Cup of this 2019 ICF World Cup Series. So can she make it back-to-back wins? Well, it's all about what she delivers today.
So yeah, 101 is a great time to start and to open the final, so they'll be looking at improving on that time, but yeah, it is hard, because to do a time faster than that, you really need to deliver a seamless run, and she's a little bit down, but she's got a good pace, and the bottom, I think the bottom is where you can make up a lot of time because the water's a little bit stickier.
I'd agree. I think it's we've seen a lot of people find time at the top but then not hold it all the way through.
Yeah.
But if you can find the time from here on, really, from the exit of gate 10, then that's where you're really going to challenge for the podium today.
And so far she's on a good run. You can see that the boat doesn't stop at all, which is the ultimate goal. Did she? No, it's just the wind.
Well, look at that,
so she's up on the time.
2.74, so she's kept it cool and she has extended that. Is this going to be under 100 seconds? If it is, she definitely tightens the screws. She sends a message out to those still to come, but she's got to deliver the last three gates on the course.
Yeah, if she can hold it together. She was very composed that run, and it's nothing, no crazy upstreams or anything. It's just being fast and in the gates and out as fast as you can as well, and that should go into the lead.
Oh, under 100 seconds, and Stefanie Horn takes the race lead for Italy, and a respectable, there's only two people off, but 99.62. Already the times are much quicker than we were sort of seeing from those athletes in the semi-final.
I mean, we could already have the podium determined. It's those runs were really good, and I'm not sure what the fastest time was in the semis, but 96.63. So, yeah, there's
But
still some room.
So Ricarda Funk had a 96.63 plus a 2-second penalty,
Yeah.
so there is still room in there, but it's certainly a good milestone. Stefanie Horn, the winner from the last World Cup of the series in Tarsen, Slovenia. That was back at the end of June. And we are... So Stefanie Horn is the race leader, 99.62 that time to beat. Anna Satila second, 101.46. So anyone of the 8 paddlers still to go knows they've really got to go under 100 seconds in order to even to maybe justify getting on the podium.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a really good field to go under 100 seconds. It will be a very, very strong final and hopefully a tight final. I think those ones are the most exciting. So, oh gosh, a little bit sticky on the first stopper, and you can see her trying to make up some time in that sprint, but the water's very sticky and you need to stay as dry as possible.
So it's world number 1, Jessica Fox of Australia, sister, of course, to my co-commentator today, hence the nervousness. And, the most accomplished paddler in World Championship history in this sport. So no pressure, but certainly responding to that pressure. She's a little bit down, but we know that Jess can really pull it together through the whole distance on the course.
Yeah, so she already has a much smoother top section than in her semi, despite the first stopper stopping her. But you can see that she's super in control so far and has really jumped the stoppers and not let the water stick to her too much. And the lactic's probably really coming in at this point. But if she holds it together, she'll be very competitive to Steffi Horn's time. Not sure about the 96.63.
Well, the 2018 world champion is absolutely taking the fight to Stefanie Horn, the race leader, but at the moment needs to find the fractions on this bottom section.
Yeah.
One more gate to go for the
You
Australian.
can see the horrible sprint to the finish, and it's just going to slip away.
It's going to be close, and it's inside and into the race lead for Jessica Fox of Australia. She finds the time at the bottom, and I could see the tension in your face
But you
there.
can see that little grimace. She knows it might not be enough, that's the problem. Even if you want to smile for the camera, but if you're not internally satisfied with those tiny little mistakes that cost you so much time, it's hard, and she'll be a bit disappointed. But now it's the waiting game, and it could finish with a smile or it could finish in tears. Who knows?
Well, we've only had 3 boats down in this women's K1 final, and it has come alive already. And of course, we still have the fastest 7 boats to come from the semi-final. But it is Jessica Fox representing Australia who leads the way, 99.02 seconds, ahead of Stefanie Horn of Italy, winner of the last World Cup race in Tarsen, Slovenia, and Anna Satila of Brazil, 99.02. Well, I would have said that's certain for a place on the podium, anything under 100.
Not at this stage.
Under 100 seconds, but I think the way this final's come alive, then it's going to be a nervous wait.
Yeah, and I think all of them in the top 3 right now might be a bit frustrated that they got caught in a few sections, because you can easily be 2 seconds faster, but it's such a tricky course, and to stay on line the whole way down is really hard.
Well, next up, it's the 2009 world champion, Jasmin Schornberg of Germany. And, she's probably not found the same kind of form as she perhaps found around 2009 and 2010, but you'd never rule her out, particularly on a familiar course such as this here on home water.
I mean, this is a hard race for her. It's a World Cup, it's in your home country, and it's also a spot to fight and prolong that Olympic selection. So, I mean, France did that exceptionally well, and that was so impressive to watch, and we'll see what Jasmin can do. But yeah, it's incredibly hard, and she's doing really well so far.
She's got the advantage on the top. She's found nearly a second on the top over Jessica Fox of Australia, but we know that you've got to deliver all the way down the course, and a little bit low on 12, but she does seem to have kept the boat running.
Yeah, she's keeping the boat running really well, and a little bit tight on that pole, but so far, so she's lost 2.3 seconds. And I think that's just from not paddling and waiting a little bit. Here you really just have to paddle in between the gaps and not wait, because if not you just lose all of your boat speed.
Well, here we go. Running out of opportunities on the course to find any time. It's nice on 19 for Schornberg of Germany, but is it enough to challenge for a podium spot? It needs to be under 100 seconds to be in the mix, and it's going to be outside of that. Jasmin Schornberg paddles into the finish, into 4th place for Germany, 102.23. And, well, such is the quality so far that we've got 4 clean runs out of 4 paddlers in this final.
You can see that finals mentality to really, like the shift in the focus of all the athletes and just how they've upped their game so well. And, you know, none of them have really caved to the pressure just yet, so that's what's making such an awesome final. And, yeah, Jasmin lost a bit of time on the bottom section, but, yeah, she had a good fight at the top section, and now it's just... I guess it's just a waiting game, and that's the sport, really.
Well, Jessica Fox of Australia leading 99.02 ahead of Stefanie Horn of Italy and Anna Sartila of Brazil. And I thought Jess really found that time on the upstream gate 10. Really tricky move, and she made that look easy.
Yeah, and she had such a dry boat down the bottom and really jumped the stoppers. The top section is where she probably could have gained a few seconds, especially before the first gate. She lost quite a bit of time. And I think, you know, with our sport, you could lose so much time before the first gate and so much time after the last gate. It's never finished until you cross the beam.
Well, talking of never finished, here is a paddler who could spoil the Australian party, because on course it is Corinna Kuhnle of Austria, 2-time world champion, 5th at the Olympic Games in Rio. And will always take the fight in any competition. She won the last round. She's the race leader overall of the World Cup Series, but she has taken that early penalty.
Yeah, so she kind of just full blasted into gate 2, but you could see on gate 3 that she really learnt from her semi-final and went deep and controlled her nose. And I think she wanted to go for the direct there, but unfortunately got stuck. Adapted pretty well, but still lost some costly time, and with that 2-second penalty, she's going to have a very strong bottom to be competitive.
Let's see, because this is where she'll open out a little bit. She'll use her power as she comes towards the downstream 11 into the upstream gate 12, and it's tight. She gets the exit as well. We'll get an indication in just a couple of seconds as to how she stands up with current race leader, but it's down 2.15 down, and not the tidiest on 15.
Yeah, so that's going to be another second or so. Without her touch, she would have been in the running. But unfortunately, that 2-second penalty is very costly, and that's the first 2-second penalty of the final so far, so you can see it's a lot cleaner than the semi-finals.
Well, we could always give the judges the afternoon off, couldn't we? At the way it's going, such is the quality of the paddling. But Corinna Kuhnle of Austria now chasing it hard. It's not going to be gold. Can she get on the podium? And into 5th place for the double world champion, Corinna Kuhnle of Austria, 102.71. That includes a 2-second penalty, but it is still Jessica Fox of Australia leading the way. There she is in the middle, wearing the bib number 1 as world number 1. Stefanie Horn on the left, wearing bib number 5 for Italy in second, and then Anna Sartila on the right for Brazil. But that's where the trouble started for Corinna on gate 2. Big hit there, no doubt about the touch, but it'll be interesting to see how much that affected her concentration.
Yeah, well, we've seen a lot of big hits. I mean, the touches have been, you know, full blasting into the gate or smashing it with your nose. I haven't really seen some tiny little touches, but...
Well, we're halfway through the final. Jessica Fox is leading. How are you feeling, Jess?
Nervous. Look, it was a hard fight the whole way down from gate 1 where I made a little mistake. I really tried to push the rest of the run, and I look pretty happy with the rest of it, but I know there's some really strong girls yet to come, so we'll wait and see.
You've been having a pretty good season. How did you feel today about the final? It's a quality field. There are Olympic spots up for grabs for certain athletes.
Yeah, definitely a quality final. All all the big names are pretty much in it, so you've got to give it your best, and I was happy to make it in 8th spot, so wanting to improve on that semi-final run, which I did.
Right, keep your fingers crossed.
Well, great to see there the current race leader at the halfway point in this ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup 4. There's the standings. We are at the halfway point. Top 5, but of course the top 5 from the semi-final still to race. Jessica Fox of Australia though, 99.02. We have seen faster times down the course, but it is all about delivery in the final when it matters.
Yeah, definitely, and it's a tough course, and the heat as well might impact a few people. It's hard to really analyse the course when there's not much shade and you don't want to get too hot and tired. So.
And how are the athletes dealing with the heat here? Because you're right, there isn't that much shade here, and what shade there is normally in marquees and things, and it's not that
very
cold.
Hot and sticky as well. The lake's really nice, where I saw a few people cooling down, and then in the athlete tent, I guess it's nice and shady, so they can just wind down a little bit and just, it's a challenge that can differentiate the best as well, because they'll know how to not let it impact them. But yeah, it's definitely, I guess it's better than wind. Anything is better than wind, but yeah, and rain as well.
Like the energy sapper of the heat, if you're not careful, like you say, it can really ruin your race day. So the experience of some of these competitors will shine through. And Jessica Fox sitting at the top of the leaderboard halfway point, 99.02. Stefanie Horn of Italy in second, Anna Shatila of Brazil in third. But still to come, Camille Prigent of France, Klaudia Zwolińska of Poland, Maialen Chourraut of Spain, Kateřina Kudějová of the Czech Republic, and Ricarda Funk of Germany. And the first of the 5 to go is on course. Camille Prigent of France, who, a really exciting paddler coming through the under-23 and the junior system, but absolutely making her mark on the senior ranks.
Yeah, she's a very tidy paddler. She always positions her boat in the right spot, and she has really good grip, so you can see that she doesn't always sprint, but she times her strokes really effectively and really waits for the right moment to pull.
Well, a bit sticky around that tricky gate 7, the downstream gate, and 1.14 seconds down on race leader Fox of Australia.
She's quite small as well, so it's easier for her to duck through the gates and really avoid the penalties. Small and flexible is a good advantage, I'd say.
Huh. Well, she's navigated the top part of the course clean. Now, this is the business end of the course, and a little bit low on 12, but does keep the boat speed, and certainly just dropping, losing a bit of contact. 4.63 now with the race leader, and it's so easy to just drop away, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the problem with this course. It's so easy to just slide out a tiny bit and or wait a little bit too long instead of pulling, and then you just lose a second or two. And she's done a very solid run, I'd say, and hopefully she'll be happy with this. But it's sometimes you just need to slide out a tiny bit less, and that can make a massive difference. And that sprint to the finish as well is where you can lose some time. But it was a good fight for Camille, and I think she knows what she needs to improve on next time. But still solid, and still very young compared to the field out there. So
yeah, it's great to see, and it's a big milestone for her to get into that final.
Yeah, so it's her first final of the season
and perform respectably in the final.
Yeah, and this is you see the names out there. It's a really tough final, so most of those people might be the Olympic boat. So it's it's a tough challenge, and for the first final of the season to put down a good run as well is always it's always a nice feeling and a great learning opportunity.
Yeah, we can expect some intense competition for that French Olympic boat place in the kayak as well.
Yeah, I think in all categories for the French, the women are pretty much at the same level. So it could be any one of those three, and that's the exciting but the nerve-wracking bit as well.
Well, some of the crowd here in Markkleeberg in Germany. We're live with the ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup. 4 of 5 will be in Prague next weekend for the World Cup final, and you can follow that on Planet Canoe. But next up, it is Klaudia Zwolińska of Poland, launching her challenge for a place on the podium.
Yeah, so she had a very good semi-final run, and honestly didn't look like she did anything exceptional or tried that hard. She just put her boat in the right place and pulled in the right places, and it's her natural style. So she's very strong, and like I said in the semi-finals, she's got a really good core, and that means that she never really drops her edge or puts herself in bad positions. And on this course, it's a massive advantage. So,
and that's a good negotiation there through that difficult 5, 6, 7 sequence. Now coming towards the upstream gate 10 on the right. This is the gate's caught a few people out.
Yeah,
no problems there.
Really tight. Great adaptation.
Yes, I would agree. I don't think she planned that,
No.
but she kept close to the entry pole to avoid the back of the boat touching the wall. And we'll see how that compares on the clock, because she was pretty much on a par with race leader Jessica Fox of Australia on the first split.
I think Jess really amped up the bottom, knowing that she had a mistake on the top. So maybe that is one of her little advantages. If you have a little mistake at the top, then you really just have to engage and sprint at the bottom. And the oar just a little bit caught. She went too much on the outside line there.
It's a difficult move, isn't it? Because you actually want to use the curl of that stopper by 18, but you risk getting close to the pole, and that's an example. Well, she's too close, takes the touch. But it's a good run. Klaudia Zwolińska of Poland into 6th place.
And she has an asterisk for now, because they might think that she went too far on the outside pole, and that her boat wasn't in it, but we'll have to wait for the penalty review. From our angle, it looked like it was okay, but you never really know.
Well, we have
the top 3 still sticking there, so
yeah. Jessica Fox leading for Australia, Stefanie Horn second for Italy, Ana Satila of Brazil in 3rd. 3 boats to go, and they include a world champion, an Olympic champion, and a local favourite, Ricarda Funk of Germany. In fact, a European champion. So there we go. There's a big field still to come, and no one will be relaxing until these 3 are down. What an exciting women's kayak final.
It's a shame for Klaudia. She had such a good top, and then just slid out a tiny bit down the bottom and lost quite a bit of time. But the last 3 I'm very excited about. I think they'll put down an awesome run, hopefully.
Well, again, it's the opportunity for Ricarda Funk of Germany to seal her Olympic place. But let's focus on the Olympic champion of 2016. It is Maialen Chourraut of Spain, who is coming down this course now. She was quick in the semi-final, but had penalties. Can she deliver a clean run and really take on that challenge? 99.02 is the time to beat.
Well, so far I think that's the nicest top section we've seen. She's been so dry, and just like her boat is a rocket, literally. She just pushes it forward and it stays so dry. And yeah, she's 2 seconds up, and you can visually see that. And we'll see if she can stick that advantage time down the bottom. Hopefully she doesn't lose too much energy. You can see when they get a little bit tired and they can't grunt and maintain that the rhythm that they had in the top section. But so far she's on an awesome run, and you can see her unleashing. We haven't really seen that intensity, I think, for a while, so it will be great to see her back on the podium.
Well, let's see. We'll get an indication in just a couple of seconds' time, but it looks like the advantage is gone.
Yeah, she lost a bit of time on the exit of the last up left.
So Jess was so strong in that middle section between the gate 10 through, or it's more like gate 7 through until gate 12.
And I think that's when you realize how sticky and powerful the water is, because Jess didn't look that much faster than the others in the middle section and the bottom section, but she just had such a smooth and fast line. And yeah, this is slipping away a little bit. She might be able to hold it, but...
So it looks like the podium remains unchanged, and it's Maialen Chourraut of Spain goes into 6th place. The Olympic champion doesn't manage to hold on to that awesome start, and well, she settles for a time 102.90. It's another clean run, but it is Jessica Fox holding on for Australia ahead of Stefanie Horn of Italy and then Ana Satila of Brazil, with 2 boats still to go in this women's kayak final.
Yeah, so those first 3 athletes off are still holding their podium positions, so it's they'll be very nervous now. I think once it gets to the last 2, especially Ricarda, Anna will be sweating a little bit.
Well, we were talking in the semi-finals. It's next up will be Kateřina Kudějová of the Czech Republic, the world champion from 2015, and well, she hasn't had it all her way since that world title, and it's great to see her back in form, making it into the final. And well, we'll see whether she can convert that during this final. Here she is, Kateřina Kudějová of the Czech Republic, world champion 2015, and well, lots of titles at junior and under 23 level as well.
Yeah.
But now she'll be looking forwards, not backwards, as she heads towards the Olympic Games. I think she was 10th in Rio at the Rio Olympic Games, and I'm sure she'll be wanting to get her place in that Czech team. But an early penalty.
Yeah, a touch on the outside pole with the nose. That's going to be quite costly. She'll have to be in the same time as in the 99s in order to get a 3rd position. But the race isn't over until it's over, so we'll see what she has in store for us.
Well, she's a little bit, she's absorbed it, 1.82 down. She has absorbed a bit of that penalty, but this is the section where race leader Jessica Fox of Australia was so strong.
Yeah, and this sprinting opportunity, I think, is well, this sprinting section is a good opportunity to reset and make sure you're in the right rhythm for the next section, because it's nice to have some bit of white water without gates all the time.
Yes, it can be a distraction as well, but I know what you mean. And well, here Kateřina taking that tight line to 15. Looks like she's pulled it off, but the time is slipping away, 3.39 the deficit now. And well, the podium is slipping away.
So a bit too much edge on that little stopper move, and
then you just see the tail of the boat touch the side of the course. No penalty for that, but it then launches a little bit higher on the exit, and those tents slip away.
I'm surprised she had, like, you know, she's got a pretty good raw time, and considering the mistakes and the sliding out that she did, she'll be a bit frustrated, because I know she knows that she could have been at least 3 seconds faster, 4 seconds faster even.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, because she'll be racing on her home water next week in Prague for that World Cup final. But it is still the same podium. Jessica Fox leading for Australia, Stefanie Horn on the left there, and Ana Satila on the right for Brazil. And Kateřina Kudějová has to settle for 7th place at the moment.
So far Jess and Steffi have medals, so I'm not sure which order yet, but Steffi will be, I guess, really happy with that coming out from Tartan. And Jess, of course, as well. We'll see if it's a gold or a silver for her.
Well, that'd be good for Jess, because her best result in the kayak this season is 3rd. That was at the first World Cup of the season in Lee Valley. She was then 6th in Bratislava. I think she missed the final in Tartan.
Yeah.
So whatever happens, she's guaranteed a silver medal. But it's
Alrighty,
Ricarda Funk of Germany.
I can't even imagine what she's thinking and feeling right now.
So there's a race within a race here, because Ricarda Funk will be going for gold, but also she will be wanting to beat Jasmin Schornberg.
She's like a bull just being unleashed and running out onto the field. Her power is just incredible. And you can see she's so focused, and you know that she wants it, and I'm sure she can hold it together and really, I mean, she makes it look effortless, really.
She does indeed, and so far it's looking tidy. Not, well, a little bit more than tidy. 1.95 seconds the advantage. The German crowd are getting excited.
I think it's also hard when you hear, when it's your native language and you understand what the speaker is yelling at you, and you can hear the times of the others. sometimes it's nice to just not understand it, but absorb the hype.
And she was really good on the upstream gate 10. That was where Jess was good too. So I would expect her still to be in contention with Jessica at this second split.
I mean, maybe even up. She's keeping her boat so dry and just, there we go.
She is up. 1.84 seconds up, but
gosh.
It's going to be tight, but it's not over yet.
Yeah, I mean, you can see she's just on an incredible run, and you don't get nervous watching her. She just looks so in control and keeps, even if she's late, she just accelerates so well. And this is an incredible run from Ricarda, and it's so exciting to watch.
Surely we're looking at the race winner here. Ricarda Funk of Germany comes towards the finish line, and she devastates the field. 95.27.
Nearly 4 seconds up.
Respect there, and that not only takes a gold medal here in this World Cup, but also she knows she's going to Tokyo. Wouldn't surprise me if a bit of emotion comes out there.
Oh gosh, that was so incredible to watch, and it's so beautiful to see someone earn their spot with that much time and margin, and to win the quals, to win the semis, and then to win the finals. Yeah, wow.
Wow, the emotion comes out, and quite rightly it should. Ricarda Funk of Germany has taken gold in front of her home crowd here at the Canoe Slalom World Cup number 4. And not only has she done that, but she has secured her nomination for Germany to go to the Tokyo Olympics. I should say that Germany obviously still have to qualify a place at the World Championships.
But I mean, at this rate, I think they'll be fine.
but yes, I think that's I wouldn't say a formality, but you would say that would be a real surprise if they didn't. And Ricarda Funk, look at that, 95.27.
That was so impressive.
And it'd be interesting to see whether that would have got her a medal just outside of medals in the men's C1 event.
Yeah, so that was just so incredible, and nothing, I mean, no extreme upstreams, or she just keeps the boat so smooth and keeps the speed on it, and she's so strong and just pulls herself so far. I mean, you can see her boat like flies out of the water, and that was so an awesome run, and she must be feeling just on top of the world.
Well, you could see the emotions come out there, and how she controls that under pressure, last off in front of a home crowd. It's not easy.
So impressive. It is really impressive.
So there's the results from the women's kayak final here in Markkleeberg, Germany. Ricarda Funk takes gold for the German fans here. Jessica Fox of Australia, her personal best in the kayak this season, takes the silver medal. And Stefanie Horn follows up her win at the last World Cup with a bronze medal for Italy. Anna Sotila held on for so long in the medals, but still a great performance for Brazil.
And it was a very clean final as well. Only 3 athletes had a 2-second penalty.
So I think shortly we'll be able to hear from Ricarda. There she is.
I'm surprised she's not in tears and just ecstatic. She's very composed, and that translates in her paddling as well. She keeps the focus.
Well, Ricarda, first of all, congratulations on winning the World Cup.
Thank you so much. I'm happy. Sorry.
Secondly, congratulations on booking a place for Tokyo next year. You're off to the Olympics. Well done.
Thank you, but it's still not the place, but I've won the selection, and I'm just happy, and I can't believe it.
This is so important for you. I know 2016 it was so close. Now you look like you can go to Tokyo for your very first Olympics. What does that mean for you as an athlete?
Yeah, it would mean so much. Olympics are only every 4 years, and I really messed up last Olympic selections, and I was really, really sad. And
And what about this crowd here today, the German crowd who've come out to support you? They were pretty loud. How good is it to have them supporting you in a big race like this?
Yeah, it was really cool. Thank you to all of you. And it was a little bit of pressure, but I managed it.
Congratulations, Ricky. Well done.
Thank you.
Wow, what a performance there for Ricarda Funk. And, she'll be celebrating in front of her home crowd. Gold for Germany, and silver for Australia, and bronze for Italy. And here's the World Cup standings. It is still Corinna Kuhnle of Austria leading after 4 races, but Ricarda Funk moved up to second there with her win. Eva Tersel in third. Jessica Fox again moving up with 4th place for Australia. And, well, we'll be in Prague next weekend for the World Cup final. Double points up for grabs.
Yep.
So very much a, well, the title is still up for grabs and won't be decided until next week in Prague. But there's still lots of racing to go here in Markkleeberg in Germany, because that might be it for today's racing. But we'll be in action tomorrow with the women's C1 semi-finals and finals, and also the men's K1 semi-finals and finals. And then into the afternoon, we'll have the extreme slalom. So you can join us, follow that live on Planet Canoe. And we get underway at 9 o'clock Central European time tomorrow. But just thank you, Naomi, for joining me in the commentary box. Your reflections on that women's kayak race?
Well, I think it was very impressive, more impressive than the semi-finals. Ricarda's just, you can tell that she's just unleashed this gear that the others don't have at this point in time, and she's an incredible paddler, and that final was, nearly equally as impressive as the C1 men. The level is just really, really impressive, and you can see that everyone's preparing really well for the World Cup final and also the World Championships. So yeah, the level is very impressive, and to see everyone go nearly clean compared to the semi-final is always good. I mean, no major stuff-ups, so.
Great. Well, it was an exciting race, and we really do have an exciting prospect coming up. World Championships in a month's time. That'll be live on Planet Canoe. We've got the World Cup final next weekend, which promises to be a really hard-fought race to see who takes the World Cup overall title for 2019. But for today, that is it here in Markkleeberg, Germany. But I do hope you will join us tomorrow for the women's C1 semi-finals live on Planet Canoe at 0900 Central European time. We'll bring you the men's kayak, which is around about 10 o'clock Central European time, and then of course the finals of the women's C1, the men's K1, and then we'll have extreme slalom. So that's it today from live from Markkleeberg in Germany. We'll see you tomorrow, 9 o'clock Central European time. From me, Andy Maddock, and from Naomi Fox, it's goodbye.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Alexander, it must be a good feeling to be back on top of the podium.
Je to naozaj úžasný pocit, už strašne dávno som ho nezažil, už je to pár rokov a